Alright, welcome back. So, um, just to get this out there, I am doing this part post, just because when it says extra mode, it really means extra mode. Like, this, this is definitely far more tougher than, the actual, regular mode. Um, Now, it's not just enemies are faster, or Kirby has less health, or they hit harder. It's a couple different things. One, there are some different enemies, and you'll notice these little flying guys. I think the chickens are new. Even the Waddle Dees are a lot more aggressive than what they were. And they honestly, they tend to hit a lot harder than, rude. They hit a lot harder than, and have some new attack patterns. Like this guy, he'll actually lunge at you. He's definitely a lot more aggressive than what he was. In the first playthrough. But, I did want to, actually do this part, because I think it's good to show off what you can in a Let's Play. But if you're, if you're playing this game, you're probably just playing it because you want to see where Kirby got his start. Because other than, other than that, there's really not a lot of reason to Dreamland. Unless you're, a Let's Player wanting to start at the beginning of a, of a franchise, which is what I want to do. Because, yeah, we're going to be doing this, this game first, and then we'll move on to Kirby's Adventure, which is actually the first Kirby game that I ever beat. And again, that one is more or less a more fully realized version of this game. Without all of the limitations of the hardware. I mean, that game is one of those NES games that really makes the system chug. But it's a great looking game even for its time. It actually came out after the NES, or after the Super NES, or the Super Nintendo came out. So honestly, this is probably now the hardest fight in the game, is this tree. The tree itself is not too difficult. It's the fact that it drops Gordos, which are the little spiny things. And those do basically half of your health. So if you're coming into this fight at anything other than max health, it's going to take 2 hits to kill you, maybe even 1 if you've taken some damage beforehand. And the tree really, really loves blowing its little cloud things while you're trying to jump over the Gordos. So, yeah, that one took me a little bit of time to get used to the pattern. So now we're into the second stage, Castle Lololo again. And as you can probably guess, there are still a couple new enemies. I think this ghost enemy might be slightly different. Even the sweeper things are more aggressive, and the little masks have a different look to them. Yeah, ouch. Gordos really do hurt, especially in expert mode, or extra mode. I know it's called extra mode, but it's basically expert mode. Now, the original playthrough probably take you about half an hour, maybe less if you're really good at the game or have had enough practice. So the thing that we picked up was the thing for endless flight. Fly, Kirby, fly! Thankfully, once you're on the star, you're safe. And this thing, after throwing the little box at you, will actually throw a Gordo, just for safe measure. In case it didn't actually hit you. It seems like it's always so much faster on those bottom ones, at least the one that Kirby's currently standing on. I don't know if that's just the fact that it has to, like, get out to the end and shoot the box in the same amount of time that it would take on one of the higher platforms. That could be it. Definitely, you're definitely going to be hurting for helium items more in this playthrough than you were in the original. Alright, so of all the bosses, I would say Lololo and La probably about the same. I think they're a little faster, but, like, of all the bosses, I didn't find I struggled with them as much. Obviously, I take my time, because I'm not about losing lives if I can help it. But sometimes losing a life to refill your energy is worth it. You know, in some instances, it definitely is. I mean, obviously, you don't try to lose a life. You try and get through it, but it's not as big a deal if you do lose a life. The way you can kind of tell which one is Lololo and which one is La is La has a little bow, which is that little light part on it. So close, Kirby. Alright, there goes La, and all we got left is Lololo. Come on, get up here. It's giving me really bad behavior. My one sort of gripe with the original Kirby is the fact that Kirby, and this is probably just a matter of the either the emulator or the hardware that it was on. Kirby just feels like there's so much latency in what I do, like compared to the enemies, which more or less have pretty smooth movement. Kirby just doesn't feel like it takes a while for the character to respond to what you do. And again, I don't know if that's necessarily the fault of the game, or the fault of the hardware, or the fault of the emulator. Alright. So, when I originally tried to record the extra mode, this was the one that really, like, annoyed me the most. Like, this level was the one that kind of did it in for me. And I took a break and waited for another day to record the, just because like that type of stuff. There was no way for me to have known that that thing was going to show up. Just enemies in general are a lot tougher on extra mode. These guys, in particular, are really annoying. Because I basically just lost the health that I gained. Okay, make sure to be on the left side. So in the original playthrough, or the original run, the coconut thing is on the right side, or on the left side. But in extra mode, they changed that up, of course. So, just be aware of that. I know that caught me the first time. I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen, just because that seems like a thing that it would do. Make sure to swallow that guy, because otherwise he'll chase after you. And when you're in the middle of flying, you really don't have any way of defending yourself. So that's basically a free hit on you, and yeah. I would recommend clearing out as many of those blocks towards the top as possible. Otherwise, you will probably get hit by a Gordo, and you will be sad, because you will have lost 3 health. Because, yeah. Alright. I think it was this section in particular was where I stopped. Because probably one of those guys just kind of showing up out of nowhere, like him. I think he was the one that kind of pushed me over the edge. And touching the water gets rid of the curry, sadly. But you kind of need that health and the 1-up. Just go to the door, Kirby. Alright. Take the star. Something that I did notice, though, in the first 2 levels, there's sort of a mini-boss. But in this one, there isn't. Which is kind of odd to me. I guess maybe the stage is just a little longer or something, or more difficult. So they decide not to have one. Now, Kabula here is probably one of the more trickier second round bosses, because it seems like it's much more erratic with the its projectiles. It seems like it dive bombs a lot more often, but I could be wrong on that one. Alright. There it goes. Now, the second playthrough will probably take you maybe an hour. Definitely double the time. I did condense some stuff down just to, keep it in an episode. Several deaths, for sure. But I try and show off, the actual part of the game. Alright. Again, you can't suck these guys up. Otherwise, they'll turn scary and come after you. These things are new. Or at least a different coat of paint. You thought for sure I was gonna fall to death. Now these parasails are probably some of the most dangerous enemies in this level. So normally in regular playthrough, they'll just kind of float away, but in expert mode, they'll actually home in on you, and they hurt. That was close. Oops. These guys are jerks. Their attacks, again, they're a boomerang type attack, but it seems like they go farther. I don't know all the differences between the two versions. If there really is any, other than just a coat of paint or different sprite. Alright. Jerk. That type of stuff is what I don't like, is when as soon as they come on the screen, they attack you, and you don't really have any time to react, let alone try and defend yourself, especially when you're flying in the air. Kirby does. But that's... I know, it's an old game. That type of stuff is just, it's the fact of life with old games like this. So, I can't really fault the game, because other games definitely do that. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna complain a little. But... Alright, so what we should have done instead was, we should have held on to that thing that we swallowed. That way we could shoot it at the explodey guy, and then... Sorry, I don't remember all the names for most of these enemies, other than Gordos, Waddle Dees, and Waddle Doos. I think pretty much everything else I don't really remember. I'm so nervous around Gordos. I mean, they do take half of your health. Like, well, they take 3 units of health, which... half of your max health, how about that? Alright, so this is Kracko Jr. specifically. Obviously we fought him in the first playthrough, or the first round. Kracko has a very similar, or very easy attack pattern. He does he drops the little iron balls, goes over, swoops, releases bombs, and yeah, it's pretty simple. As you can probably tell, if you just stick to the corner, he can't really hit you. Unless he's doing that swoop attack right there, which you need to be ducking to avoid, but... yeah, unfortunately you can't duck and hold something in your mouth, which is kind of annoying. But what you have to do is you have to swallow the bomb, or suck up the bomb, wait until he does the iron ball attack, and bounces along the ground. You have to be quick, otherwise he'll move out of your range. And then you need to spit it at him quick enough, and then duck, because he's going to come right back. Yeah, so now I finally got the pattern down. Definitely giving me a bit of trouble, but thankfully wasn't too difficult. That's really the key with this Kirby game and old school Kirby games. As long as you figure out what the pattern is, they really aren't too difficult. And specifically the bosses. I know when I was playing Kirby's Adventure, Kracko was definitely the one that gave me the most trouble. And I think he is kind of intended to be a tougher boss. So now, in extra mode, I think these stars actually can't hurt you. I don't... I actually managed to avoid all of them, so I can't say for certain, but I want to say that they do. Also, this cheeky jerk. Turn around on me. Alright. This is honestly a pretty dangerous area, and we're just gonna beeline towards the door. So, here is Kracko. Kracko, unlike the first playthrough, is actually kind of easier here. His attack pattern is stay in the middle, dive at you, do his little attack, and as long as you stick to the corner, he can't really hurt you. As long as you jump when he does the dive. Just suck up the bomb that's closest to you and spit it at him, and he like, the pattern is definitely a lot easier. Now, I think I end up still dying here, unfortunately, because it gets, well, maybe I cut that one out, but yeah, Kracko, of the two, he's probably the one that was made the easiest, while Wispy Woods and Kabula were made harder, and then Lololo and Lalala were about the same. Alright, what do we want to do first? Let's do Kabula. So, same thing as the first playthrough, you just have to play through an abridged version of the stage and get to the exit. And then you fight the boss again. Just make sure not to touch the Gordos because they are instant kill in in these levels. Yeah, I think Kabula, the only reason why Kabula is tougher is because I find its attack patterns to be a bit more erratic than the first tries. Also, it always seems like it takes more than one hit from Kirby's air to take a health. Alright, so let's go ahead and do Kracko. I can't remember what order we technically went through. Oh, okay, yeah, this was what I was thinking. I died in that one because, well, I only had the one health left. Alright, let's do this, Kracko. Again, Kracko, pretty easy. Obviously, we've just seen this fight play out, and thankfully they don't really change their strategies up in between the original fight and the rematch in Mount GDD. Whether that's for better or worse in Wispy Woods' case. Stop doing that. Thank you. I hate it when I get the timing wrong. Take an extra hit for no reason. Alright. Low. Alright. Those masks are always so, like, terrifying. Like, not visually. They visually look fine, but I don't like enemies that can just beeline to you. I am a bit hesitant with these because I don't want to be taking damage if I can help it. And I'm playing a little risky with some of them. Honestly, if you can focus fire on one of them, that's actually better for you. Getting rid of one and then being able to just worry about the other one is actually better. Now, that's kind of RNG depending on which one is closest to you, but it's definitely something to consider. Like, we ended up taking out La 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 before Lo Lo Lo. It's ideally going to make it a little easier to taking him out, so we don't have to deal with two of them. Nice. There we go. Alright, one more. Oh boy, this is definitely the hardest of the extra mode bosses. Like, other than maybe DDD. DDD really doesn't change up much other than he has a lot of health. That's really the only thing he has going for him. Now, that being said, DDD is still plenty challenging as far as bosses go. Yeah, that's what I don't like about Wispy Woods' rematch. Because of his, because of the Gordos, well, objects just in general that are falling, it makes hitting him, or trying to avoid both his falling objects and his wind very annoying. Alright. Think we can do this in one health? Nope. No, we cannot. DDD is... I don't know if he's more aggressive than he was. It feels like he is. It feels like his attacks are much more fluid than Kirby can move. Which is one of the reasons why I don't really like how Kirby controls in this game. That, and Kirby just feels very slippery. That might just be, like, a natural trait of Kirby throughout the games. I don't know, it's been a while since I played Kirby's Adventure, so I don't know if he's necessarily as slippery. Like, you saw there, I was running and trying to turn around, and Kirby was just kind of slipping a little. This fight took me a little while to get. Several retries, for sure. But, yeah, with that, we managed to defeat King DDD second time. And everything pretty much plays out the same way. As far as, like, the ending, there's really no differences. We still get the credits. Kirby takes the castle and all the food back with him. Since apparently DDD has been hoarding all the food. But, yeah. Obviously, there are some differences with the ending, but we'll get there in a second when once the credits are actually done. So many players. Kirby's Dream Land, presented by HAL Laboratory Inc. and Nintendo. Thank you for playing. You're welcome. And bye-bye. And with that, we get the little cast reel, cast call, whatever you call these, cast list, I guess. Just kind of going through all the different worlds. Poppy Bros. That's the name of them. Get to see a couple of the unique enemies throughout the different stages. I think these are all the first time through enemies, plus the bosses. Kaboola. Sir Kibble. Kracko and Kracko Jr. Well, aw, Kracko Jr. doesn't actually get its own name. Well, that's sad. Okay, and I think these are all the new enemies. Gaspar. Wonder how many of these, like, enemies really come back in later games. I mean, I'm sure some of them, many of them do come back in, like, Kirby's Adventure. That's, like, very next game in the series. And there's a lot of similarities between the two. But, yeah. I don't know, I really haven't played a whole lot of Kirby games. Just never really owned any. Until more recently. And yeah. Now that you have completed the extra mode, you can actually go into config mode, which allows you to do a few different things. I think you can give Kirby a lot more health stuff. It is nice that they like give you new stuff to do, but aw, poor King DDD. Kirby just wanted to make sure he was okay. But yeah, that is it for Kirby's Dream Land. I know it was a pretty short series, but it's a pretty short game. So, whenever we come back to the Kirby series, it will be with Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Alright. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next Let's Play.